we start with our marker pulse. We start with the dollar. What's the dollar telling us here today? 30, 15, 60, 40. Of course, I've got the daily. Of course, I've got the 5. It's just underneath these 4 charts you see on your screen. Ideally, I'd like you looking at all 6 of those charts. So 15, 30, 60, 40, then daily and 5. So what you don't see is underneath this 60-minute chart, I've got a daily chart, by the way, with the lazy days lines on there. And under this 5-minute chart, I've got under this 240-minute chart, I've got a 5-minute chart with pivots and with my wave. So when you take a look at the 4 intraday charts, we take a look at, we triage, we compare, we sort. Each one has a slightly different direction, don't they? So triage comes down to directional decisions. Triage comes down to clarity. We've talked about clarity before. I think it's worth mentioning again. When I am looking at the market, when I'm looking at this dollar index, this dollar market, and I'm viewing my time frames, and I'm focusing in on the market memory, 3 to 5 days on the 15, a week on the 30, 2 weeks on the 60, 4 to 6 weeks on the 240. By the way, the 30 can be 1 to 2 weeks, but sometimes it gets pretty scrunched up. Just like the 15 could be 3 to 5 days, whatever's comfortable. You can work within the minimum, that's fine. So again, 3 to 5 days, I've got 3 here, got a week here, 2 weeks here, and then I've got, wow, I'm at the end of February here, so I've got about 6 weeks here, right, almost 7. Clarity means I'm looking specifically at the wave. I mean, in this view, I'm not really looking at much more than the wave angle for its clarity critique. Smoothness, respect, established. I'm focusing on primarily that. Now, as far as doing that consciously, I've also realized that while I'm looking at, how smooth is the wave, how much respect is there for the dynamic support and resistance of it, is it established, okay? As I'm looking for that, I have realized that kind of subconsciously, I'm also looking at levels like the psychological levels. I do realize that we battled with 82 and failed, okay? I'll notice that we seem to be having some support here near what would be about 8150. Okay, so I do keep an eye on the psychological levels. It's not even a conscious thing anymore. Double zeros and 50s. Not so much the 20s and 80s, but definitely the double zeros and the 50s. So when I'm looking at the 1530, 6240, daily, 5-minute, the main way I'm scanning and the way I can get through these so fast is I'm just going through the pairs, focused in on simply the clarity and then psychological levels. 3350 automatically pops up in my head. I'm looking at the wave, clarity. Is it smooth? Are prices respecting it? Is it established? I'm looking through just basically those issues, 3200, So it's a psychological level / wave type scan. And when you're just looking at that, you can get through the pairs pretty quick. Is there clarity here? Gosh, 15, my eyes just go zoop right past it. It's not even a conscious thing. I look at this and there's just no clarity. Boom, I move on. 30, a little bit better. 60's heading down a little bit at a 4 to 6, but I see I lack respect here. If you keep your scanning focus, smooth, respect, established, psychological levels, you'll make your way through the pairs much faster because you know exactly what you're looking for. The reason new traders get hung up on analyzing a single time frame or a single pair, market forever is because they don't know what they're looking for and they're waiting for it to bite them in the nose. So it takes them forever because there's no focus. And it's not their fault. Just Somebody hasn't told them, look for this. Notice I'm not looking at entry considerations. I'm not focused on any kind of chart pattern, nothing. The first assessment is, what's the market cycle doing? Because if it's a trending market cycle, I'm really not that interested right away in drawing any lines and levels, because I'm pretty much going to be using the wave, psychological levels, maybe some Fibonacci later on. Okay, so the only time I'm really going to be concerned with drawing lines and levels is when I start getting into the trade setup, looking for support and resistance, for stop losses possibly, for profit targets possibly. But in the very beginning stages, save yourself some time. Unless the market's 3 o'clock, don't worry about drawing support and resistance levels right away. If it's 2 to 4, you should have some sort of ceiling or floor that's popping out at you. Okay, if it's 3 o'clock, then you're probably going to be looking for rectangles, triangles, pennants, double tops, triple tops, etc. Okay, so don't do work that's unnecessary. Get through the scanning, because again, one of the other problems traders get when it comes to missing trades is one of the priorities of triage is just to get through the freaking charts. And the only way you're going to do that is if you can just do this kind of clarity critique of the wave and understand where the psychological numbers might be playing a part. Get through the pairs. You can jot down which pair time frame combination is looking promising and then go back to it. But unless you get through the pairs, you're going to miss trades. If you spend 15 minutes on the euro US dollar, you're going to miss trades. So just get through them. Whatever your list is, get through them with those criteria. And what I've listed there is just now, again, with the wave clarity critique, psychological levels, getting through the pairs in about 3 minutes, even less. I mean, we could probably scan through this immediately in about 60 seconds, and I'm not exaggerating whatsoever. Because once you train your eyes, it's really just boom, boom, boom.